So I needed a quick Saturday lunch. I decided to make some chicken bruschetta sandwiches, and I put a little salad on mine. This is a little messy, but this looks like it's going to be the most delicious thing I've had all week. Cheers. This was so quick. This was so easy. This is probably going to be added into my weekly rotation. We're going to have this for dinner, probably next week, to finish off this bruschetta. It is messy, but it's absolutely worth it. And fries are a must-have. So the first thing I'm doing today is flattening my chicken. I like to do this instead of cutting my chicken if I'm just looking for something quick and easy. I have put down a piece of parchment paper, a couple layers of plastic wrap, and I've put the chicken breast smooth side down, and then I've kind of opened up this end to get it. I think it flattens easiest that way. I'm going to fold my plastic wrap over, and then just hit it until it's flat. I like to do a couple layers of plastic wrap just to give the plastic itself a little bit of strength. Keeps the kitchen a little cleaner, keeps my tools a little cleaner. And it doesn't have to be super thin, but the thinner it is, the faster it'll cook. And that's it. Once it's all uniform thickness, I'm just going to pull the plastic wrap off the top and get everything seasoned. There are some bits of this chicken breast that I would normally cut off here, but they're still going to look and feel different after the chicken breast is cooked. In order to save on some dishes and a little bit of time, I'm going to cut those off after the breast is cooked. My seasoning for this is super simple. I'm just going to drizzle on a little bit of olive oil. I'm going to put on a rather generous amount of garlic powder. A little bit of onion powder. And then a little bit of salt as well. And I like to kind of press it in instead of rubbing it. I find that rubbing it tends to pull up more seasoning than spreading it around. I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. All right, this is all seasoned. I'm going to preheat my pan and get this searing. All right, I'm using a stainless steel pan, and I have this heating up on medium-high heat. I like to use stainless steel because it gives you the best crust, and you know it's ready when you can splash water in and the water all beads up instead of sizzling and evaporating right away. And now that that's ready, I'm going to add a generous amount of oil. And then I will lay my chicken breast down, smooth side down. And kind of press that into the pan a little bit to get the crust started. All right, so my chicken has shrunk down quite a bit. I'm going to go ahead and flip it over, and it's not sticking at all. If I had a weight, I would press this down a little bit. That would get a really nice sear on the other side. But I'll just press it down over the next couple of minutes while it's cooking. And then I'll pull it off the stove and let it rest while we get the rest of our sandwiches ready. While my chicken is finishing up, I'm going to go ahead and get started on my bread. I got these really nice kind of chewy sandwich rolls. I think this would work really well on a baguette or just a nice chewy loaf of sourdough even. I'm just going to get these sliced in half, and I'm going to throw them in the toaster oven for just a couple minutes. to get them just a little warmed up. And my chicken is done. I'm just going to set that on this cutting board. I'm going to cover it up and tent it with some foil while I prep the rest of the sandwich stuff. I found this really nice sun-dried tomato bruschetta. We use a lot of sun-dried tomatoes in this house, and we love a good bruschetta. And I thought, that smells so good. I thought this would make such a good topping for our sandwich. And I think I want a little bit of a salad to go on mine. So I just got this little spring mix. And I'm going to use some of this balsamic vinaigrette. I think balsamic goes really well with bruschetta, of course. And I'm just going to put a little bit on here and kind of massage it in. And I know he doesn't want any greens, so I'm just doing enough for one sandwich. My bread's out of the toaster oven. I'm going to just spread a little bit of this bruschetta onto all 4 slices. And then I also got this fresh mozzarella that I thought would just be absolutely perfect on this. And I don't think this is sliced, so I have to cut it. And I'm doing some pretty thin slices here because I'm going to put cheese on both sides of the sandwich. All right, I'm gonna go throw these back in the toaster oven and probably just throw it under the broiler until that cheese is nice and bubbly. And while that is finishing up, I am going to go ahead and slice up this chicken. And I'm actually just gonna do a really rough chop on this. And then it's still a little hot, so I'm gonna go grab a pair of gloves, and I just kind of want to give this one more quick little shred. I want it to reabsorb all the juices, and when it's shredded, it'll sit on the sandwich just a little bit nicer. All right, I'm just gonna move this chicken to a bowl and pour the rest of these juices in there as well. And then I'm just really gonna squish it around a little bit. All right, my cheese is nice and melted. I am going to go ahead and assemble these sandwiches. Just put a big old handful of chicken on it. And then on mine, I'm going to add all of my greens. And then since I'm nearly done with this, I'm going to throw my fries in for a second fry. I thought fries would make a great side for this. And I think the double fry is really important if you're making fries. It gets you nice crispy fries, and it makes sure everything is done at the same time. So if you want to see how I make those, just let me know. And I decided I do want to cut these in half. So I'm just going to cut these on the diagonal, of course. They taste much better that way. Straight down the middle here. All right, right, sandwiches are done. Fries are ready. And I really loaded up these sandwiches with this chicken. I probably could have made 3 and still have been okay. And that's it.